Okay, let's read about self-trust, the secret ingredient to a joyful life. Brought to you by Self-Love Labs GPT. Try to say that. Self-Love Labs. Self-Love Labs. Self-Love Labs. Okay, so I believe that David put in uh, a prompt and AI came out with these slides. So I'm going to read through them and let's see if it's helpful to us. Here's a quote: when you trust yourself, everything gets easier. I am digging this topic already because as a child, I do not feel I was taught to trust me at all. And I feel like this majorly messed me up in life, and I had to recover from a lot of that and learn to trust me, trust me, trust me, go in, right? So this is very important to me. How about you? All right, why self-trust matters? Think about the last time you ignored your gut feeling and later thought, I knew it all along. I knew it. Oh my God, yes. That's your self-trust trying to get your attention. Foundation for decisions. So self-trust helps us with decisions. Self-trust gives you the confidence to make choices without second guessing every step. Heck yeah, support your choice, right? And make your choices from your gut. What is aligned for you? It's the quiet voice that says, you've got this. You've got this, even when others doubt you. Yes, stay true to you. Okay, boundary builder. When you trust yourself, you can say yes when you mean yes and no when you mean no without the guilt trip afterward. Heck yeah, that's a very, very important thing to learn. Yep, your boundaries, your preferences, living within that. So stuff feels good to you, right? Authentic living. Self-trust allows you to live according to your values, not someone else's expectations or social media's highlight reels. Yeah. So somebody else's expectations. So like in my case, I would say like my mom's opinions, right? Versus which are fine, like, but they're not mine. I need to live by my values, right? So do you relate to this? Okay, let's see. The enemies of self-trust. Who are the enemies? What is the enemy of self-trust? So we were not born doubting ourselves. Self-trust gets eroded over time by over-reliance on outside approval. Do you relate to seeking external validation? For example, the phrase, what will they think? Ignoring your gut feelings until they go silent. This is so sad to me, you know. Um, Staying in draining situations because maybe I'm just overreacting. Nope, you're not. Confusing people pleasing with kindness. They're not the same. Yes, this one can be tricky to understand. Um, but yeah, totally. The constant barrage of shoulds, like don't should on yourself, right? From family, society, that critical voice in your head, maybe an internalized parent. There's actually a lot on this slide. Wow, so I think AI just gathers it all up and puts it in here. There's a lot. I could talk on just this slide for a while. So let's look at this picture. So this poor guy. What are all these things? Trust your gut. You the gut. Follow the data. Be yourself. Okay. Hmm. Sound familiar? I've been there too, spending years dimming my light to make others comfortable. Who's I? Who's the I we're talking to if this is AI? Not sure about that picture. But the information here is good. Building self-trust, step by step. Self-trust is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Here's how to start flexing. Keep promises to yourself. Start tiny. If you say you'll meditate for 5 minutes, do it. These small victories build your self-trust bank account I started with just promising myself I'd drink water before coffee. I'm so confused who the I is. Small but meaningful. Okay. Act on values, not just moods. Identify your core values. That's a really interesting one. I'd like to do a little more work on identifying what are my core values. Like, I think I know, and yet I could really write that out and make sure I know because I want to live from my values. Identify your core values and make decisions that align with them. Yep, even when it's uncomfortable. When I chose authenticity over people pleasing, my anxiety actually decreased. Cool. Yes, I'm all about authenticity. Daily check-ins, ask yourself, what do I need right now? Yeah, for sure, because we have one choice. It's to meet our needs, right? I like this too. Then here's the crucial part. Actually give yourself that thing. Actually give yourself that thing. Try to meet your needs. Even if it's just 5 minutes of silence in your car before heading inside. Here's a little tip. For me, I was struggling yesterday and I felt I needed somebody else to like hear me. And I recorded a voice memo to send to that person. But then I listened to my memo and I was fine. I needed to hear me, right? Like that was me, an example of me listening to me, right? Trusting me, listening to my gut, hearing me. Um, yeah. Document your wisdom. Journal your decisions, then revisit them later to see how often your intuition was right. You'll be surprised how wise you already are. Yeah, and I don't want to be too personal, but like visiting a certain person, I feel terrible. Trust that, right? Like I need to trust that and maybe get out of there. Okay. Boundaries aren't walls. They're instructions for how to love you better. Cool. Maybe it relates to the love languages if anybody's read that book. I've heard of boundaries as preferences as well. It's just your preferences. Boundaries as proof of self-trust. So this is interesting. Boundaries and self-trust. How do these relate? Okay. Setting boundaries feels terrifying at first. And if you're like me, when I started doing this, I did it too big, right? But that's fine. Like we swing, right? And then we come to the middle. Um, Setting boundaries feels terrifying, like you're risking relationships or being difficult. I used to say yes to who is the I? Is it AI? Like who is the I used to say yes to everything, then resent everyone. Sound familiar? The truth, saying no is actually saying yes to your well-being. Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's really, really important to say no because whatever you're choosing is like your choice, right? So if you say yes to something that isn't a full yes to you, like that isn't aligned, you're saying no to yourself or to like what you really need or what is your highest in that moment? Okay. People who truly love you will respect that. Here's a quote: you can't be truly open with someone if you're silently resenting them for crossing boundaries you never communicated. Okay. When I finally started setting boundaries with my family about holiday expectations, our relationship actually improved because I showed up genuinely happy rather than secretly exhausted. Yeah, I really, really don't like that secretly exhausted fake thing. It's like I can't tolerate that anymore in my life. It's so hurtful. I just want to be real. Okay. Bravery and self-expression, the pretending phase. When we hide our true thoughts and feelings to keep the peace or maintain an image, the pretending phase is where we hide our true thoughts and feelings to keep the peace or maintain an image. I spent years here. Who am I talking? Who is speaking here? Smiling through gritted teeth. Um, have you done that? Pretend hide true thoughts and feelings? Yeah, of course, I have. Less and less, right? The breaking point, when the gap between who you are and who you're pretending to be becomes too painful to sustain, and thank God, right? Like that's what life is. It's like returning to who we really are. And some of us, I'm so jealous of the people who just like are. Like one woman I heard say, like, it never occurred to me to be anybody other than who I truly am. And I'm like, wow. Like some people are authentic straight through, right? But many of us go through like being inauthentic, being fake, like blah, then having to come back to our true selves. Yeah. The breaking point is when the gap between who you are and who you're pretending to be becomes too painful to sustain. This often feels like anxiety, resentment, or exhaustion. Yep. And then the brave truth, speaking your truth without guaranteeing the outcome. Yeah, I like that. Doesn't matter how somebody reacts. If you speak your truth, you're kicking butt, right? This is where real connection begins because how do you connect with anybody if you're not putting out your real self? Like it's really scary in the beginning, but you gotta put out your authentic self, or how will your people find you? Um, this is where real connection begins and where self-trust becomes your superpower. Cool. Yeah. Stay aligned. Stay aligned. Remember, vulnerability is not oversharing. I've totally been prone to this. It's sharing the real truth that matters with the right people at the right time. Okay. I started small, whoever this I is, telling a friend I preferred coffee over lunch instead of just going along. I love that example because sometimes we feel embarrassed when it's like a small thing like this. Like, really? You can't say you don't want to go to lunch? Yeah, really. I would have a hard time, probably. Um, yeah, so start small. If it's in your head, like, should I say this? Should I not say it? The truth, tiny truth by tiny truth, my confidence grew. Practical self-trust practices. The one yes rule. For every yes you give to someone else, give yourself a yes too. If you agree to help a friend move, also say yes to something that refills your cup. Two, the pause button. That's what I'm working on from the last video, the self-love one. To report back to you guys in a month. I hope some of you are doing this too. Practicing the pause, like when you're triggered, right? When something upsets you, like pause before you react so that you can respond instead. Really, it's about taking time to connect to you. The pause button. Before agreeing to something, say, let me think about it and get back to you. This creates space to check in with your true feelings. Yeah, that can be helpful to take a little time if you're not sure, right? Feel check Fridays. End your week by asking, did I live in alignment with my truth? Where did I honor myself and where did I abandon myself? I like that one. Yeah. I mean, in general, like, where am I abandoning myself right now? Like, what in me, what part in me, what needs some attention? And also, where am I honoring myself? Am I living in alignment with my truth? That's cool. Self-trust and relationships. The most surprising benefit of building self-trust, it transforms every relationship in your life, romantic, friendly, familial, professional, partner selection. People who trust themselves choose healthier partners. You know what you want, so you can more directly go after it. When you value your own judgment, you stop doubting the red flags you see. I have two ex-husbands. Every man I've been with like thinks it'll be different with them. And finally, I'm 46 years old. I'm like, oh no, I need to trust me. Like I know my patterns, right? What will and won't work. Yeah. Okay. I spent years ignoring my intuition about partners until I didn't. Then we've got mutual trust foundation. True intimacy requires mutual trust, which starts with self-trust. Yeah, when I'm trusting me, I'm much more capable of trusting another. When you trust yourself, you can be vulnerable without fear of losing your identity. Yeah, and for me, like knowing that if I'm triggered, I will take care of myself instead of turn against myself. I don't know if anybody relates to that pattern. Then we've got freedom from fear. The more you trust yourself, the less you fear losing someone. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You know you'll be okay regardless of what happens. Yeah. Like when we learn to work with ourselves, we know, like, yeah, it sucks to lose someone or whatever happens out here, but we always have the ability to do these practices. So it says, you know, you'll be okay regardless of what happens because you've got your own back. So, do you have your own back? Here's a quote: the quality of your relationship with yourself determines the quality of your relationship with everyone else. Yeah, totally. My relationship with myself is much, much, much better than it used to be. And my relationships with others are much, much, much better than they used to be. Your challenge this month: practice one act of self trust daily. Start small, but be consistent. By our next episode, you'll be amazed at how differently you feel. Beginner level. Oh, you can choose your level. That's fun. Which level are you going to choose? Beginner level. Decline an invite you don't actually want to accept. Take a lunch break without working through it. Wear something that feels authentically you. All right, you want to level up to intermediate? You could speak up about a need or boundary. The most vulnerable person in the room wins. You could make a decision without polling everyone you know. Yes, very important. You could say, I need to think about that instead of immediate people pleasing. Okay? Get yourself some time. I do feel very rushed into things sometimes with certain people, and so buying some time is really good. And if you want to go advanced, here's some suggestions. Have that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Oh boy, I would really love to hear how that goes if you choose this one. Take a risk aligned with your deepest values. Heck yeah. If not now, then when? Right? One life to live. I mean, seriously. Trust your intuition, even when it defies logical advice. Absolutely. Okay, report back in episode 3. I can't wait to hear your self-trust victories. Okay, cool. Maybe this voice is David. I don't know. This I. All right, that's the last slide. See you next time, guys. Have a great day. Love you all.